Imagine visiting a Japanese home for the first time. You open the front door, and before you even take your second step, you have already entered a completely different world. There may be no giant living room, no huge entrance hall, no expensive decoration trying to impress you. Instead, you see something simple, a small step, a few pairs of shoes, maybe an umbrella, maybe a narrow cabinet. Nothing dramatic, but that tiny entrance is hiding something most visitors never notice, because in many Japanese homes, the front door is not simply where the house begins. It is where the asterisk rules change asterisk. One step can separate outside from inside. One pair of slippers can tell you which room you are allowed to enter. A bathroom that looks unusually small may actually contain one of the smartest systems in the house. A nearly empty room can become a bedroom only minutes later, and a closet that looks ordinary during the day may be hiding the reason Japanese homes can feel much larger than they really are. The most surprising part? Many of these ideas are so normal in Japan that nobody thinks of them as secrets, but to an outsider, they reveal an entirely different way of thinking about cleanliness, space, comfort, and daily life. And secret number 7 changes the way you understand the entire Japanese home. So before you walk through that front door wearing your shoes, there are 7 things you need to know. Secret number 1, the floor changes before the house even begins. The first secret is right under your feet. In many Japanese homes, when you open the front door, you enter a small lower area called the genkan. At first, it may look like a simple entrance, but the genkan is much more important than that. It acts like a border. Outside is one world, inside is another. You enter wearing your outdoor shoes, but you usually do not continue walking through the home in them. Instead, you stop. You remove your shoes. Then you step up onto the raised interior floor. That small change in height may only be a few centimeters, but culturally it can feel much bigger. The lower area belongs to the outside world. The raised floor belongs to the clean interior world. Think about everything your shoes touch during the day. Train platforms, sidewalks, parking areas, rainwater, dust, public bathrooms, city streets. Now imagine carrying all of that directly into the room where you sit, sleep, or eat. For many Japanese households, that would feel deeply uncomfortable, so cleanliness begins before you enter the main house, not after, before. And there is another detail many visitors miss. After removing your shoes, it is polite to avoid stepping back onto the lower genkan floor with your socks. You remove the shoe, then step directly onto the raised interior floor. It sounds like a tiny thing, but once you understand the logic, it makes perfect sense. The clean zone stays clean, the dirty zone stays separate. Even the direction of the shoes can matter. In many households, shoes are neatly turned so the toes face toward the door. Why? Because the next time you leave, you can simply step into them. There is no need to twist around or shuffle awkwardly. It looks tidy, but it is also practical, and that reveals the first big idea hidden inside Japanese homes. Good design does not always need to be expensive. Sometimes good design is simply creating a small habit that prevents a bigger problem. Instead of cleaning dirt from every room later, you stop most of it at the entrance. One tiny step, one simple rule, a cleaner home. But once your shoes are off, you may think you are finally free to walk anywhere. Not quite, because now the house may give you something else to wear. And choosing the wrong pair can create a very awkward moment. Secret number 2. The house may have a hidden slipper hierarchy. You removed your shoes. Excellent. Then your host places a pair of slippers in front of you. So you put them on. Simple, except Japanese slippers can have rules of their own. In many homes, indoor slippers are used for walking around wooden or hard floors, but those same slippers may not be welcome everywhere. Enter a tatami room, for example, and you may be expected to remove them. Enter the toilet, and you may find an entirely different pair waiting inside. Yes, toilet slippers. For first-time visitors, this can be one of the funniest and most dangerous traps in a Japanese home. You enter the toilet wearing your house slippers. You notice another pair. You change into the toilet slippers. You finish. You wash your hands. You open the door. And then you walk back into the living room, still wearing the toilet slippers. Your host notices. You notice your host noticing. And suddenly everyone understands what happened. The reason for separate toilet slippers follows the same idea as the genkan. Different spaces have different levels of cleanliness. The toilet is treated as its own zone, so slippers used there stay there. They do not travel through the rest of the home. but then comes another layer. Traditional tatami flooring is usually treated differently again. Tatami mats are delicate, slippers can damage them. So when entering a tatami room, people commonly walk in socks or bare feet rather than indoor slippers. Think about what is happening here. One home, several invisible borders. Outdoor shoes stop at the genkan. Indoor slippers begin inside. Toilet slippers remain in the toilet. Slippers may come off again before tatami. A visitor who does not know these rules might see only floors. A Japanese resident may see clearly defined zones, and this is one reason Japanese homes can feel incredibly orderly even when they are small. Order is not created only by storage. It is created by behavior. Every object has a place. Every space has a purpose. And sometimes, even your slippers have a job description. But footwear is only the beginning, because deeper inside the home, there is another room where Japan completely changes the rules. A room where getting clean happens asterisk, asterisk, before asterisk, asterisk you get into the bath. Hash hash, secret number 3, the bathtub is not where you get clean. This surprises many foreign visitors. In many Japanese homes, the bathtub is not primarily a place for washing dirt from your body. It is a place for soaking. That difference changes the entire bathroom. A typical Japanese bathing area may have a bathtub beside an open showering space with a waterproof floor. Instead of standing inside the bathtub and showering like many people do in Western homes, you often wash outside the tub. You sit or stand in the washing area. You use soap. You wash your hair. You rinse your entire body. And only when you are clean, you enter the bath. Why? Because the bath water is meant for relaxation, not for washing away dirt. Traditionally, family members may use the same bath water one after another, so entering clean helps keep that water clean. And this creates a completely different feeling around bathing. The shower is the cleaning stage. The bathtub is the relaxing stage. You are no longer rushing through a 5-minute shower before work. The bath can become a quiet ending to the day. Warm water, steam, silence. A few minutes where nobody needs anything from you. In some households, sophisticated bath controls can even keep water warm or reheat it. You may hear a control panel announce that the bath is ready. To someone unfamiliar with Japanese homes, this can feel surprisingly advanced, but perhaps the smartest part is not the technology. It is the separation of purposes. Cleaning happens here, relaxing happens there. Instead of asking one space to do everything, each part has a specific job, and you see this idea throughout Japanese homes. A small house does not necessarily need one giant room for every activity. It needs spaces that can change purpose intelligently. There is also a small piece of etiquette worth knowing. Because people soak after washing, you should not jump directly into the bath covered in soap. You rinse first, then soak. It seems obvious once you understand the system. But if you grew up somewhere where bathtub and shower are basically the same thing, this one rule completely changes how you see the Japanese bathroom, and the surprise continues. Because somewhere near that bathroom may be a toilet, but strangely, it may not be in the bathroom at all. Hash hash, secret number 4, the toilet often lives alone. In many countries, one room contains everything: toilet, sink, shower, bathtub, all together. But many Japanese homes separate these functions. The toilet may have its own tiny room. The bath and shower are somewhere else. And once you experience this system, you begin to see why it can be useful. Imagine one person taking a long evening bath. In a combined bathroom, nobody else can comfortably use the toilet. But when the toilet is separate, someone can bathe while another person uses the toilet. For families living in compact homes, this simple separation can make daily life much easier. And Japanese toilets themselves are famous for another reason: technology. Depending on the home, you may find heated seats, washing functions, adjustable water pressure, deodorizing features, or controls that look more like the dashboard of a small airplane. But there is an even smaller detail that fascinates many visitors. Some toilet tanks have a tiny sink built into the top. After you flush, clean water flows through a faucet. You wash your hands. That water then collects inside the tank, and later it is used for the next flush. You are not washing your hands with dirty toilet water. It is fresh, incoming water being reused before entering the tank. Such a small idea, yet it represents something larger. Asterisk, asterisk, waste less space. Asterisk, asterisk, waste less water. Asterisk, asterisk, make one system perform 2 useful jobs. Not every Japanese toilet has this feature, of course. And Japanese homes vary enormously. A modern Tokyo apartment can look very different from an older family home in Kyoto, Osaka, Hokkaido, or rural Japan. But the thinking behind many of these details is remarkably consistent. Small spaces demand smart decisions. Instead of asking, how can we make everything bigger? The better question is often, how can this small thing work better? And this question becomes even more important when you reach one of the most iconic parts of a traditional Japanese home, a room that looks almost empty, but that emptiness is not a mistake. It is the entire point. That pagagala kwannes, the thinsina the hobinlanes, wedarabif pompelbo. ##. Secret number 5. An empty room may actually be several rooms. Imagine walking into a Japanese room and seeing almost nothing. Tatami floor, low table, maybe a cushion, perhaps a small decorative alcove, no giant sofa, no enormous bed, no heavy furniture covering every wall. A visitor might think, where is everything? The answer may be, hidden, Traditional Japanese rooms were designed around flexibility. A room did not always need to be only a bedroom, or only a dining room, or only a sitting room. The same room could change throughout the day. In the morning, bedding is folded and stored away. During the day, the room becomes open living space. A low table may appear for tea or meals. At night, the table can move, futons come out, and the living room becomes a sleeping room. The next morning, everything disappears again. This is a completely different philosophy from filling every room with permanent furniture. A Western-style bedroom may contain a bed that occupies half the room 24 hours a day, even though nobody uses it for most of those hours. Japanese flexible rooms ask another question. Why should a sleeping surface own the room while you are awake? That question becomes especially powerful in smaller homes. If one room can perform 3 jobs, you do not necessarily need 3 rooms. This does not mean every Japanese person sleeps on a futon. Modern Japan has plenty of Western-style beds, couches, dining tables, and apartments. But the traditional idea of flexible space still influences how many homes are organized, and tatami itself changes the feeling of the room. It has texture, a natural appearance, even a distinctive smell when it is newer. Because people sit and sometimes sleep closer to the floor, the room feels different from a space dominated by high furniture. You notice the floor more, you notice empty space more, you notice how objects are arranged. And perhaps the deepest secret is this. In many places, an empty room feels unfinished. In Japanese design, emptiness can feel intentional. Space itself has value. You do not always need to fill every corner. Sometimes the room becomes more useful because something is not there. But if the room is empty, where did the bedding go? Where are the blankets? Where are all the things a normal household needs? That brings us to the storage secret hiding behind what may look like a very ordinary door. Secret number 6. The walls are hiding the furniture. Look around a traditional-style Japanese room. You may not see wardrobes, you may not see giant cabinets, you may not see a bed frame, yet people still own bedding, clothes, bags, boxes, seasonal items, and all the normal things families need. So where does everything go? Often into built-in storage. One famous example is the oshier. An oshier is a deep Japanese-style closet traditionally used to store futons and bedding. Instead of placing bulky furniture in the center of the room, storage becomes part of the wall. Slide the door open, and suddenly the room reveals another layer. Blankets, futons, pillows, seasonal items, things that would otherwise occupy valuable floor space. Then close the door, and the room feels calm again. This ability to make objects disappear visually is one reason some Japanese interiors feel so peaceful. The home can contain plenty of possessions, but not all possessions need to be visible all the time. That difference is important, because visual clutter can make a small space feel even smaller. A 10-square-meter room with objects covering every surface may feel cramped. The same room with clear walls and an open floor can feel surprisingly comfortable. So storage is not only about putting things somewhere, it is also about protecting empty space. And Japanese homes often take seasonal storage seriously too. Heavy winter blankets may disappear when summer arrives, fans appear, then colder weather returns, fans are stored, heaters or thicker bedding come back. The home changes with the season, instead of displaying everything all year. Again, not every household follows the same system. Modern lifestyles differ. Young renters live differently from large families. Tiny city apartments face different challenges from detached suburban houses. But there is still a powerful lesson here. If you cannot increase the size of your home, you can increase the intelligence of your storage. Use the walls. Use vertical space. Hide what you do not need today. Let one room breathe, and suddenly a modest home can feel much more functional than its measurements suggest. But there is one final secret. And this one is bigger than slippers, bathtubs, tatami, or closets. Because once you understand it, you understand why all the other secrets exist. Secret number 7. The real secret is not the house, it is the boundaries. Here is the thing most people miss. The genius of many Japanese homes is not one special object. It is not the genkan, it is not the bathtub, it is not toilet technology. It is not tatami, it is not futons, it is not hidden storage. The deeper secret is the way the home creates boundaries, Look back at everything we discovered. The genkan creates a boundary between outside and inside. Shoes belong on one side, clean interior floors belong on the other. Slippers create boundaries between different indoor spaces. Toilet slippers stay with the toilet. Tatami has its own rules. The bathroom separates washing from soaking. The toilet may be separated from bathing. Storage separates the things you need now from the things you need later. Flexible rooms separate activities by time, instead of permanently dividing them with walls. Morning, day, night, one space can change because each activity has its own moment. This may be the most beautiful part of the Japanese home. The goal is not always to own more space. The goal is to understand the space you already have. Where does dirt stop? Where does rest begin? Where should this object live? When should this room change? What needs to be visible? What can disappear? What belongs here? What does not? These tiny decisions create order. And when enough small decisions work together, the home begins to feel effortless. That is why somebody unfamiliar with Japan may walk into a modest apartment and think, there is not much here. But after living there for a while, they may realize almost everything has been carefully considered. Even the front step, even the slippers, even the empty floor. Japan is one of the countries where limited space has often encouraged clever, everyday solutions. And instead of treating a compact home only as a problem, Japanese design has frequently asked, how can we make daily life work beautifully inside the limits we have? That may be why the smallest details become so interesting. A shoe removed at the entrance saves cleaning later. A separate toilet makes a family bathroom more practical. A futon stored in the morning gives the room back to you. A deep closet removes visual clutter. A bath becomes a ritual instead of only a utility. None of these ideas is dramatic by itself, but together, they change the experience of the entire home. And maybe that is the biggest lesson Japanese homes can teach us. A comfortable home is not always the biggest home. A beautiful home is not always the most expensive home. And an organized home is not necessarily a home with fewer things. Sometimes, a great home is simply one where everything understands where it belongs. So the next time you see the entrance of a Japanese home, do not look only at the shoes, look at that tiny step, because that small boundary is telling you something. You are leaving one world behind and entering another. And once the door closes behind you, almost every detail inside follows that same quiet philosophy. Clean, simple, flexible, intentional. 7 secrets hidden behind one ordinary front door. And now that you know what to look for, a Japanese home may never look ordinary again.